Hello viewers, the 52nd GST Council meeting has concluded today, that is on the 7th of October 2023, and there are certain key recommendations of the Council that we all must be aware of. So as our Honorable Finance Minister began her press conference with this particular change, that is GST 80. Now as we all are aware that GST 80 is soon going to be formed, things seem favorable, and certain changes which were required to bring the composition of the GST 80 at par with the other tribunals of the country. For that, the minimum age of the members has been prescribed as 50. The maximum age of the members should be 67 and that of the president should be 70. Another point is a good news for advocates. Judicial members of the tribunal could be advocates who have 10 years of experience in indirect taxation. So whether it is before the CESTAT, State VAT, High Court, Supreme Court, or for that matter any sort of indirect tax litigation experience that advocates have, if they have a minimum experience of 10 years, they can be eligible for becoming the judicial member of the GST 80. Now that we're talking about appeals, it is also relevant to note that there is an amnesty scheme that has been announced for all the time-barred appeals. So your appeal, if it is time-barred, you can still file it up till 31st January 2024 with a 12.5% of tax disputed as pre-deposit. Out of this 12.5%, at least 20% should be paid out of cash ledger. So that is another recommendation of the council that has come. Another very important change which actually professionals are talking about is with respect to corporate guarantee. So you must be aware that corporate guarantee is one subject which was among talks since a very long time as to its taxability. What would be the rate applicable? Is there any tax actually applicable also or not in case of corporate guarantee? Whether there's a supply or not, etc. etc. There were a lot of questions going on. But to put a lot of it to rest, it has been recommended by the GST Council that a circular would be issued which would clarify that if the corporate guarantee is given by director to the company, in that case, the value of supply or the open market value would be deemed to be nil. So if the open market value is deemed to be nil, in that case, the GST will not apply on such amount. However, during the announcement of this particular amendment, this particular recommendation, it was said that the value of supply for corporate guarantee given by the director for a company's loan would be nil or actual consideration received, whichever is higher. So if there is a consideration at all, in that case GST would be payable. But yes, once we have the circular in place, we will have a better understanding as to what is going to happen in this particular case. The next is with respect to corporate guarantees given by the holding company for a loan taken by the subsidiary company. In this case, they have proposed, the GST Council has proposed for insertion of sub-rule 2 in rule 28, which would state that the value of supply for corporate guarantee given by holding company to subsidiary company would be 1% of the amount guaranteed or the consideration, whichever is higher. Now there's a catch over here. In the press release itself, it has come that irrespective of whether the recipient is eligible for full ITC or not, this is what the value of supply would be. So till now, what people were doing was with respect to corporate guarantee, especially because it happens between related parties, holding subsidiary, joint venture, or some sort of a related party. So in case of such corporate guarantees, because there's no consideration involved and there's a related party, in such cases what people were doing was, if the recipient is eligible for full ITC, they would take a nominal amount. But that has been done away with. Irrespective of whether full ITC is available or not, 1% of the guaranteed amount or consideration, whichever is higher, would be the amount of would be the value of supply. Moving on, there are other amendments with respect to ISD. So after the 50th GST Council meeting, it was made clear that ISD or cross charge, either of the two could be done in the prior period. So that particular issue was settled after the 50th GST Council meeting, but also over there itself it was mentioned that it is proposed that ISD would be made mandatory with a prospective effect. Of course, otherwise the entire provision and mechanism of ISD which is there in the law would get redundant. And now in the 52nd GST Council meeting, the provisions with respect to ISD would prospectively be made mandatory, and relevant changes in the law with respect to this would be made. So that is the change with respect to ISD. Next is several other smaller changes with respect to goods and services. So one is with respect to services provided by the Indian Railways. It has been said that all these services would now be taxed under forward charge so that the railways get benefit of ITC. One very important decision that has come is celebrating the year of millets, because this year has been declared as the year of millets. For that, keeping this in pace, it has been decided that all the food preparations which are made out of millets, if they are sold in a pre-packaged and labeled form, they will be applicable to GST at 5%. But if they are sold in any form other than pre-packaged and labeled form, such products are going to be exempt, provided that the composition of millets in such food preparation is at least 70% by weight. Another significant change is with respect to allowing supplies to SEZ units or developers for authorized operations with payment of integrated tax. So a lot of changes have come in the GST law with effect from 1st October 2023. Out of these changes, there was one significant change which has come about in section 16 of the IGST Act, wherein it has been mentioned that only a class of suppliers and a class of goods, as would be notified, will be eligible to go for export with payment of tax. All others cannot go for export with payment of tax. They would mandatorily have to go for LUT. Now, if we read notification 1 by 2023 integrated tax, over there they've mentioned the list of goods. So they've notified all goods except sin goods to be the goods which can be exported with payment of tax. Over there they've used the words exported on payment of integrated tax. They haven't written zero rated supplies on payment of integrated tax. So in a way, they had kept supplies to SEZ entirely out of that particular notification. And through this council meeting, it has been clarified that there would be an amendment that would come up in this particular notification number 1 by 2023, and supplies to SEZ also would be allowed for exporting or zero rating on payment of integrated tax. So these are some key amendments that have key recommendations of the council that have come after the 52nd GST Council meeting. Once the circulars and notifications have been issued, we will be in a better position to analyze and critically understand as to what are the implications that these particular changes will have on all of us. So till the notifications and circulars come, that's all. Thank you so much.